The galaxy had long whispered of debts unpaid, echoes of arrogance, betrayal, and oversight. Empires rose and fell on the scale of credit and conquest, cataloging every species, every system, and every allegiance. But humanity's name had been quietly overlooked, dismissed as insignificant, a minor variable in calculations too large to notice. And yet, debts have a way of coming due, and the universe would learn that humans never forgot. In the Outer Rim, scout fleets sent messages that never returned. Sensor arrays flickered as ships simply vanished, leaving only faint residual energy patterns that confounded alien mathematics. Analysts and commanders called it glitch, cosmic interference, or minor anomaly. They could not yet fathom the force gathering silently behind veils of gravitational shadows and asteroid fields. Humans had observed, learned, and endured for generations. They had survived worlds that would have crushed ordinary species, planets of crushing gravity, acidic skies, frozen deserts, and oceans that devoured the unwary. From those crucibles, humanity forged cunning, patience, and ingenuity unmatched by any recorded civilization. Every vessel, every crew, every calculated maneuver bore the weight of survival honed into deadly precision. The first contact was subtle, almost poetic in its inevitability. Alien patrols, confident in their superiority, slipped through sectors human eyes had quietly monitored. And one by one, they faltered. Engines stuttered. Shields overloaded. Command protocols collapsed, leaving crews helpless as they drifted into the void. There were no explosions, no chaos of fire. It was the quiet precision of inevitability, the calm force of intellect enforcing the debt long owed. Human warships emerged from orbital shadows like predators moving in perfect silence. Hulls shimmered with adaptive alloys, veins of soft blue light rippling in patterns designed to disrupt sensors and confuse targeting systems. Drones infiltrated vessels, shutting down propulsion and weapons without alert. Energy nets and gravitic distortions bent the battlefield into a web from which no alien ship could escape. The galaxy had catalogued nothing capable of such strategy, and the Empire was about to pay. From the bridge of the flagship, humans observed with serene focus. Each disappearing ship, each disabled formation, confirmed a truth cultivated in secrecy. Humanity had survived impossible worlds, endured cosmic hazards, and refined intelligence into art. They were not merely a species defending itself. They were an arbiter of consequence, delivering the debt the universe had once ignored. The alien fleets, confident in their records, could not understand what they faced. Their arrogance, catalogued superiority, and incomplete knowledge became fatal flaws. And as humans prepared to strike the first calculated blow, the void itself seemed to wait, holding its breath for the reckoning that would soon ripple across the galaxy. Somewhere in the calm, a captain's voice resonated. They thought we owed nothing. Now they will see what repayment looks like. The stage was set. The galaxy was about to tremble. The Empire's fleets, vast and meticulously organized, advanced into sectors they believed empty. Their sensors, calibrated for known threats, failed to register the humans hiding in orbital shadows, behind moons, and within asteroid fields. Confidence radiated from every bridge, every command center, every officer convinced that Earth's children were insignificant. They were about to learn the cost of oversight. The first losses were silent but absolute. Scout vessels vanished mid-flight, engines stalling, systems flickering into permanent inactivity. The officers who recorded these anomalies attempted to trace the energy signatures, only to find calculations that defied every known law. Every disappearance carried a precision the aliens could neither explain nor anticipate. It was not random, it was orchestration, an invisible hand of strategy and intelligence, honed over generations of survival against worlds designed to annihilate. Human warships glided into positions with deadly elegance. Adaptive hulls reflected the void's distant light in shifting constellations of blue energy, disrupting targeting arrays and sensor scans. Drones moved like ghosts, infiltrating command vessels, shutting down propulsion and weapon systems before the crews realized what had occurred. Gravity wells bent trajectories imperceptibly, turning attacks into traps and forcing formations into disorder. Each movement of the humans was premeditated, adaptive, and devastatingly precise. On planetary colonies and orbital stations, civilians and soldiers observed the chaos from safe distances, glimpsing the faint glow of distant ships and the subtle distortions of space where fleets had vanished. They did not fully understand the technology, but instinct told them, humanity had arrived, and the impossible was their ally. No longer prey. No longer underestimated, they were the ultimate arbiters of survival and consequence. The alien commanders attempted to regroup, concentrating firepower into synchronized volleys. Massive energy beams and kinetic projectiles surged toward human positions, but every strike was anticipated. Shields bent attacks into the void, propulsion grids were neutralized, and drones dismantled targeting arrays. The fleet's confidence faltered, uncertainty creeping into every calculation. The humans dictated the pace, controlled the battlefield, and enforced the debt owed with ruthless precision. Even amid destruction, humanity exercised restraint. Ships were disabled rather than obliterated. Lives preserved when possible, and collateral damage minimized. Every vanishing vessel, every failed assault, communicated a single unambiguous truth: Earth's borders are sacrosanct, and trespass carries consequences no empire could endure. From the flagship, energy pulses radiated across the void, subtle yet authoritative, signaling not only power but intelligence, discipline, and moral clarity. Alien fleets faltered further, realizing that they faced not merely technology but the culmination of survival, intellect, and deliberate purpose. The first phase of humanity's repayment was complete. The Empire would soon comprehend what it meant to underestimate a species forged by deathworlds and perfected in silence. A voice on the flagship whispered over the comms, "They will remember who they owe." The alien fleet drifted in confusion, a shadow of its former might. Ships spun helplessly, engines sputtering, weapons offline, crews paralyzed by disbelief. Every tactic they attempted was anticipated, every formation countered, every advantage nullified. Humanity did not merely defend, it orchestrated the battlefield with the precision of a species that had endured worlds designed to destroy them. Human warships advanced like predators, their adaptive hulls shimmering with pulses of blue energy, reflecting light in patterns that scrambled alien sensors and disoriented targeting systems. Drones infiltrated vessels with silent efficiency, disabling propulsion and command arrays. Gravity wells subtly altered trajectories, turning enemy volleys into traps. The void itself had become a weapon, and humanity wielded it with calm authority. On planetary surfaces and orbital stations, civilians and soldiers watched distant displays, the flickering indicators of alien vessels vanishing or drifting disabled. They could not fully understand the mechanics, but instinct told them the humans were unstoppable. Intelligence, patience, and moral clarity had combined into a force that even the galaxy's most advanced fleets could not predict. The flagship cut through the chaos, a silent eye amid spinning wreckage. Energy pulses radiated outward, bending and nullifying enemy fire before it reached its mark. Alien commanders tried to consolidate their forces, focusing attacks into coordinated volleys, but every effort failed. Shields bent energy, propulsion systems stalled, and drones dismantled weapon arrays with surgical precision. Humanity dictated the rhythm of the battle, turning arrogance into catastrophe. Even amid destruction, restraint guided human action. Collateral damage was minimized, vessels disabled without unnecessary loss of life. Every vanishing ship, every disrupted formation, was a message: trespass Earth's borders, and you face consequences beyond comprehension. The Empire had underestimated the cost of ignoring a species forged in adversity. And that miscalculation became its undoing. Alien leaders began to grasp a terrifying truth: humanity was not merely a species, they were an intellect honed into lethal precision, a moral clarity that turned survival into strategy, and strategy into inescapable inevitability. Every move, every calculation, every subtle pulse of energy confirmed what the galaxy had yet to understand: humans were the ultimate arbiters of consequence. As the flagship advanced, leading fleets through shattered formations, the alien armada dissolved further into disorder. And above it all, humanity's presence remained unwavering, a silent, absolute testament to survival, intelligence, and unyielding resolve. The next decisive strike would seal the debt, and the galaxy would remember that humans never forget. The alien fleet teetered on the brink of collapse, its formations fractured and drifting, engines failing, weapons systems offline. Commanders barked orders that never reached their targets, AI-assisted systems malfunctioned, and panic spread like wildfire. Humanity's control of the battlefield was absolute. Every maneuver, every pulse of energy, every subtle distortion of space was calculated to neutralize the enemy without reckless destruction. The humans were not just fighting, they were enforcing a debt owed for generations of disregard and underestimation. Human warships advanced with deliberate precision. Hulls shimmered with adaptive alloys, their blue energy veins pulsing rhythmically as if breathing with the intelligence of their crews. Drones infiltrated alien command ships, shutting down navigation and weapons systems silently. Gravitational distortions subtly bent enemy trajectories, turning volleys into traps and forcing alien formations into disorder. The void itself became a web, each thread controlled by human intellect and discipline. On planetary colonies and orbital stations, civilians watched from shelters, observing distant flashes of movement, faint glimmers of energy, and ships vanishing from sensor arrays. They could not comprehend every action, but instinct told them, humanity had arrived. And with it, the impossible became reality. Humans were not simply defenders, they were arbiters of consequence, delivering justice with precision and moral clarity. The flagship moved through the chaos like a calm storm at the center of a maelstrom. Energy pulses bent around its hull, shielding it from enemy fire while redirecting attacks into the void. Alien fleets attempted one last coordinated strike, concentrating their remaining firepower, but every volley failed. Drones disabled targeting arrays, propulsion grids stalled, and shields absorbed energy without faltering. Humanity dictated the rhythm of battle, leaving no margin for arrogance or error, even amid destruction. Restraint guided their actions. Vessels were disabled rather than obliterated, collateral damage minimized, and lives preserved where possible. Every vanishing alien ship carried a clear message: trespass Earth's borders, and the consequences are absolute. The Empire's arrogance had blinded it to the truth. To ignore a species forged on deathworlds is to court annihilation. As the flagship advanced, leading the fleet through the remnants of the Armada, alien commanders grasped a terrifying reality. They faced not mere technology, but intellect, foresight, and moral resolve made manifest. Humanity was not only a survivor, it was an arbiter, a predator, and the ultimate enforcer of consequence. The void fell into quiet order, the last of the alien fleet drifting disabled, a testament to human precision and discipline. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. The alien fleet was unraveling completely, scattered remnants drifting helplessly in the void. Engines sputtered, weapon systems failed, and command protocols collapsed entirely. Every attempt at coordinated retaliation was anticipated, every maneuver countered with ruthless efficiency. Humanity's presence was not a force of chaos, but a disciplined, invisible hand, orchestrating the battlefield with lethal elegance. Human warships glided into positions with calm authority, adaptive hulls shimmering with soft blue energy that disrupted enemy sensors. Drones infiltrated alien vessels, shutting down propulsion and weapon arrays before crews could react. Gravitational traps bent the void itself, turning assaults into failures and formations into chaos. Each calculated move of the humans demonstrated patience, intelligence, and inevitability, the very traits that had allowed them to survive worlds hostile to life itself. On the surfaces of threatened planets, civilians watched distant flashes of energy and the subtle disappearances of alien ships. They did not understand the full mechanisms of warfare at play, but instinct told them humanity was unassailable. Humans were no longer prey, they were the ultimate arbiters of survival and consequence. Their intelligence, moral clarity, and discipline had become a force the galaxy could neither ignore nor confront. The flagship moved through the remnants of the Armada like a predator at the center of a storm. Energy pulses radiated outward, bending attacks into nothingness, while drones moved invisibly to neutralize the remaining enemy vessels. Alien commanders attempted synchronized strikes, concentrating their firepower, but every effort was rendered irrelevant. Humanity dictated the battlefield, controlling the pace, the flow, and the outcome with surgical precision. Even amidst the annihilation of fleets, humans maintained restraint. Collateral damage was minimized, lives preserved where possible. And every action carried a clear message: Earth's borders are inviolable, and any trespass would be met with consequences beyond imagination. The Empire had underestimated a species forged on deathworlds and honed through adversity, and that miscalculation had become their undoing. As the void settled into quiet, the last of the alien fleet drifted disabled and defeated. The humans had not only defended their borders, they had rewritten the rules of engagement across the stars. A voice echoed softly across the flagship's comms: the debt has been repaid. The alien armada was no more than scattered, powerless husks, drifting silently in the void. Engines failed, weapon arrays were offline, and command systems lay dormant. Every attempt at coordination had been anticipated, every maneuver countered with flawless precision. Humanity had transformed the battlefield into a mechanism of inevitability, a testament to intelligence, discipline, and moral resolve perfected over generations. The human flagship moved calmly through the shattered remnants of enemy fleets, its hull glowing with faint blue constellations of adaptive energy. Pulses radiated outward, bending attacks into nothingness, while drones infiltrated the last active vessels, shutting down propulsion and weapon systems. Gravity wells subtly adjusted trajectories, turning desperate volleys into wasted effort. The void itself had become a human weapon, each thread of strategy woven with surgical precision. From planetary surfaces and orbital stations, survivors observed distant flashes and vanished ships, sensing both awe and reassurance. Humanity had not come as conquerors or indiscriminate destroyers, they had arrived as protectors, arbiters of consequence, and enforcers of a debt long owed. Every calculated strike, every vanishing enemy ship, communicated clarity, purpose, and restraint. The alien commanders attempted one final concentrated attack, channeling every remaining weapon toward the flagship. Massive energy beams flared, kinetic projectiles surged, and AI systems scrambled to compensate. Every strike failed. Shields bent attacks into the void, propulsion grids failed, and drones dismantled weapon systems before they could fire. Humanity dictated the battle, leaving no room for error, no margin for arrogance, and no escape for the unprepared. Even amid total destruction, restraint guided humanity. Collateral damage was minimized, lives preserved where possible, and every action was deliberate, a lesson in intelligence and moral clarity. The aliens had underestimated a species forged by deathworlds and perfected by survival, and that miscalculation had become absolute. The void settled into quiet, the last of the enemy fleet disabled and drifting. Humanity had survived. Endured, and asserted dominance not through reckless aggression, but through strategy, foresight, and unwavering moral resolve.